Welcome everyone to the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival Q&As. I am your host for the session, Julian Neves. Thank you so much for joining us. This year, our full program, it was screened from September 22nd and it is ending today, September 28th. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this time. During this Q&A, feel free to ask any questions of the filmmakers. And if we have time, we're going to get to them. And of course, don't forget, you can check out all their films at watch.eventive.org/ttff21. And of course, we have to thank all of our ttff21 sponsors. We had leading sponsorship, signature sponsorship from NGC, and we also have a leading sponsorship from Shell Trinidad and Tobago and also Republic Bank Limited. We also have contributing and supporting sponsorship from NLCB and the Sport and Culture Fund, respectively. And today I have three filmmakers with me. First up, we have Ms. Eleonore Coyette. She's the director of the documentary 407 JOU. It's about a falsely imprisoned Haitian puppeteer. Eleonore, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Bonsoir. We also have Margaret Mair. She's the director of the documentary UXO. It's about unexploded munitions on the island of Vecques in Puerto Rico. Margaret, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome, welcome. And
Thank
last,
you.
no problem. And last but definitely not least, we have Sofía Gómez Córdova. She's the editor and producer of the documentary Drawings Against Bullets. It's about the impact of violence and organized crime in Ciudad Juarez in Mexico. Welcome, Sofía.
Hi, nice to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Well, I'm going to start off with you, Eleonore. I must say, it's one of the most unique documentaries I've ever seen. Tell me about the inspiration. How did this whole thing come about?
Okay, so I lived in Haiti for 3 years, and I didn't go there to make documentary. I just went there to film music and other stuff. But one day I went to the Bureau des Droits Humains. It's like I don't know how to traduce it in English, but it's like a human rights place. And they talk about the story of Lanto, the painter in my movie, and I was so how I can like so touched by his story, but more than that, I was touched by his work, and I discovered his puppets, and I decided to film them. I never did that before, but it was like a big feeling, like if I had to do it. So I tried to do it, and I met Lanto, the puppeteer, and we decided to make this movie together, and it's the birth of this movie.
Merci, merci. Thank you so much. And on to you, Margaret. UXO, did you read about something, or did you see something, or it's something you've been familiar with a long time? Tell me about that, the inspiration for your document.
Sure. So I'm born and raised, and I live in Puerto Rico, and I actually lived in Vieques Island for 8 years. And so it's one of my homes, right, on Puerto Rico, on our one of the things that happened on Vieques Island in 2003, it was that the US Navy was actually left the island after 60 years of having a military base there, and actually using 2/3 of the island as a practice bombing space. And what has happened since then is that they have been supposedly, trying to clean out all the remains, basically all the UXOs, which are, unexploded munitions, which are left on the ground and actually also in the water. And, that the Navy, the U.S. Navy left Puerto Rico because there was a huge, you know, like social uprising, huge protest for many, many years. People camped out on the island. You know, Vieques was just really in the news, like the whole island of Puerto Rico was really involved. But that has, you know, that interest has really started to fade throughout the years. And there's a lot of neglect from the government. And while I lived there, I did hear the, you know, munitions going off, because what they do is that they do open air detonations. And it's something that the community has been fighting year after year, and actually also in front of the UN, basically just asking the Navy to do the cleanup in a different way. And what I know, you know, I left Vieques in 2017, but I keep in touch. I have family and friends there. And one of the things that happened just before I decided to actually do UXO was that I started getting messages that they were bombing every week. So every week there would be huge detonations going off, and then, you know, you can see the smoke and everything from, you know, a long distance. And I just realized that it was something that if you don't live in Vieques, you don't even think about that happening on the island. And it's something that really, you know, affects the community there. So that's, you know, when I decided to do UXO, because it's something that it's not new, but I just kind of wanted to make some, you know, make a really, really short film just to remind people, don't forget, you know, this is still going on. This is still a battle that the community is going through. And, you know, the people from Vieques still need your support in, you know, regarding this.
Thank you so much, Margaret. And on to you, Sofía, talking about communities under siege. Ciudad Juarez. Tell me about the inspiration. How did this, you know, what is, you know, something sparked and said, well, okay, we need to capture this story, this very human story.
Well, the violence and crime is a subject that director Alicia had already approached in a previous film about 3 mothers that are looking for their missing children, missing by organized crime, most likely. So for this second, as she made this film, which I also work with the editing with her, she said that she kept thinking about the children of the missing persons, and she started to think about how all this violence and crime that seemed it was rising, and it's just it has not stopped since. How all this has been affecting the children, and how in all the, you know, all what we hear and what we, you know, in the media, even in the so-called new policies or whatever, the children, they are not there. So she tried to make a film about this, but with a constructive approach, which meant to look for initiatives from society, from civil society, that could be inspiring for other people, and initiatives such as the one that is portrayed in the film, where people, women in particular, in neighborhoods that are very hardly beaten by crime, create somehow like shelters for children, where these children can probably begin to heal. So that's that.
No problem. Okay, and back to Eleanor. As you said, shooting puppets. How was that? How was as opposed to shooting, you know, regular live subjects? Tell me about that.
What can I say about this? So it's the puppeteer that move the puppets, his puppets, with the help of Sephora Monto. And I used to say that we make like a little constellation of little stars, like one moves, the other have to move too. I have the camera, I got the camera in my hand, but the other had to move. And the most difficult things was to use the light, because I didn't want to use external light, just natural light. So it's why I take a lot of time for some shots to find a good light to give lives, to give life to his puppets, you know. Okay.
And very good job on that.
Thank you.
Okay, and Margaret, the film, I see there's a dichotomy where we see like natural images and then we see like the bombing. Tell me about that structure.
Sure. Yeah, so I actually I didn't want to show you know, footage of actually, you know, the explosions. So I wanted really to look at the microcosm, and that's why I tried to get those elements from nature, and especially from the grass, because I sort of wanted to grasp that idea of the dichotomy between what it is Vieques actually for me, which is this beautiful, idyllic, you know, Caribbean paradise in terms of nature, and then all the violence that it has gone through. And that's why then I used the archive footage. And I was lucky enough to find that archive footage that I think was just put on actually on, you know, the archive.org, and it's from Vieques. So I actually wanted to use not any archival footage, but I wanted to use the archival footage of military, you know, exercises on the island. So that's what you actually see. So all the images are actually from Vieques. It's just different times. And then of course I actually wanted to go underwater because, you know, so much of Vieques is, you know, also all the marine life there. And, you know, I lived there and I had really good friends who are divers and who do underwater photography. And they do this, you know, amazing underwater photography. And I was able to use her footage for the short. So I was, you know, very lucky. So that's why you see archival footage from that. And then, you know, and you know, the nature from my own footage.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm back to you, Sofía. Going through this, I watched the film and a lot of extremely heartbreaking stories of loss and so much. I was hearing it from these young children. Just how was it for you having to edit and go through this footage?
Well, it was hard. Well, there were two of us, another editor, Perla. Well, I think the hardest part was to try and to, I hope, achieve a balance that was very much the goal from the director and the co-writer too, to show these stories in their reality, which is heartbreaking and it's very crude, but to do it in a delicate way, with empathy and in a loving way, and to not to sweeten the situation with the good things about the cooperation and all the work that these people, these women do with their neighbors, so how to achieve that balance, it was I think probably the most difficult thing. And of course it's very difficult to watch these persons and to listen to their stories and to see these children. And so yeah, fortunately I was not alone, and the team, we are all very supported to each other. And whatever we were going through, of course it was more difficult for director Alicia. So, yeah.
Okay, ladies, we're almost out of time. 5 seconds, sorry, quickly from each of you. And what do you hope audiences get when they view your films? Starting with Eleanor.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Too quickly, audiences, what do you hope they experience from the film?
The experience in the festival or in my...
Oh no, people watching the movie. 4/7 JOU. What emotions you hope they experience?
What people told me about the movie?
Sure, we can go with that. Yeah. What they experience, yeah.
In 5 seconds to say.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Everybody told me that it's so surprising to film puppets. It's just the surprise that the movie gave, I guess.
No problem. Okay, and quickly, Margaret.
I guess the reaction I've gotten is that it's very powerful, but they wanted to see more.
Okay.
So they feel that it was a little bit too short. So yes.
Sure. Okay. And Sofía, you have like two seconds.
Okay. Hope and respect for the characters.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and thank you for tuning in to this Q&A. Don't forget, you can catch these great films. They're screening today, and you can check out ttfilmfestival.com website. We can find information to buy tickets. Thank you again. Thank you, ladies, and thank you again for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.